No escaping this. Two G's, mother. The beat nuts, y'all. Juju, psycho, let's turn it out. Oh my God. It's the hardcore B-boy shit.
Episode of Maximilian Must Know. This is going to be a Scent Safari episode. I think by this point you guys know how it goes. For those of you who don't, real quick, basically go to a house I usually don't have much experience with, try to get samples from them, and then give you guys a first impression on those samples. So today the house we did that with is a fragrance house called Gallagher. And this is a house that was started by a gentleman named Dan Gallagher from, I believe, Texas. And in his story, you know, I think similar to a lot of guys who get into niche and indie fragrances, he liked wearing the designer scents. And one day his girlfriend came home from work and told him that her coworker had worn the exact same scent that he had worn, and that was it for that fragrance for him. He pushed it to the side and he started to explore differently. Well, that story might not be 100% similar. I think guys out there, you know, at some point just got bored with what was being mass marketed and smelled 90 to 80 to 90% similar to each other, and started looking for other fragrances, and that got Dan down the rabbit hole, and you know, started looking at different fragrances and eventually creating different fragrances. So in his initial collection, Dan released 8 scents, and there's a lot of different ways to purchase or try these. You can get 5 mLs of all 8 fragrances for $80, which is the sort of set that Dan sent to me. You can actually purchase 53 ml bottles of all 8 fragrances for $450. So if you like these, that's good value. You can get any scent in a 53 ml bottle for $70, or just a 5 ml sample of any fragrance for $15. So we're going to go through the 4 that I thought the audience would be the most interested in, and we're going to start with one that seems to be getting the most hype in the online fragrance community, and that one is called Bergamust. And Bergamust has notes of bergamot, ocean mist, cedar, orange blossom, ambroxan, isoe super, and white amber musk. Now, 3 of these remind me of other fragrances, so I'm gonna reference them, and I hope Dan doesn't take that as a bad or good thing. I'm just giving you guys reference. Bergamust, to me, Bergamust is an excellent fragrance. Excellent. I think it's the best that I've smelled from Dan. And there's a fragrance that I am in love with. You guys have heard me really wax poetic about it. It's called Bergamotto Merino by Gianfranco Ferri. It was done by Maurice Rousseau, and it is just it was done by Pierre Bourdon, not Maurice Rousseau, and it is just an unbelievable bergamot fragrance. It's probably my favorite bergamot fragrance of all time because there's these white florals in it, and it's discontinued. Kind of hard to get, and sometimes it can be pricey. This for me is almost a 1-to-1 stand-in. It's so good. It might be better. I get the bergamot, I get this cedar, I get the orange blossom. Bergamotto Merino has, I believe, some lily of the valley. So you get the bergamot and the white florals, and the orange blossom sort of replaces that here. It's just unbelievable. For me, it's really close. This one actually performs better than Bergamotto Merino. So, you know, well, I was thinking of getting a backup of Bergamotto Merino. If I could find it cheaper, I might just go to Bergamot, because this is a bergamot lover's dream. It can be unisex. I think it's better for a guy. It's just clean. It's like a white, classic white shirt fragrance. You know what I'm saying? It could be dressed up, dressed down. Definitely can be worn with a suit. It is absolutely gorgeous, and it's a great look from Dan. So I think Bergamust is a great scent. The second one is called Carpe Cafe, or Carp Cafe. And you got Colombian coffee, French vanilla, cypress, fir needle, so pine, amber, labdanum, myrrh, and sandalwood. And this one reminds me of a fragrance from the house of Sebastian called Royal Espresso. But I think this one is better as well. The Royal Espresso to me kind of felt a little bit cheap in its construction. Not a bad fragrance, a good gourmand coffee fragrance that wanted to sort of smell like a latte or like a just a sweet coffee scent. I think this one's got more depth to it. I think there's a little bit of pine. I actually can smell the labdanum here. It's not just gourmand. It's not just coffee and gourmand. There's depth. If you like coffee fragrances, this will float your boat because you're gonna get the coffee, you're gonna get the vanilla, you're gonna get some pine and amber. Really good. Great fragrance for the colder weather. Bergamot's probably better for the warmer weather. This one better for the colder weather, so really good as well. Next one we're going to talk about is called Peaches and Campfire. And Peaches and Campfire have notes of black currant, peaches, balsam, campfire, accord, jasmine, oregano, rosemary, cedarwood, neroli, patchouli, saffron, and sandalwood. This one disappointed me a little bit because I really was looking for a sort of Henley perfume, slumber house, dark, campfire fragrance. And I kind of here just get the peaches or stewed stone fruit. I don't really get the campfire at all. I think Dan should have gone balls to the walls here and really tempered the black currant and peaches with a stronger campfire accord. Because to me, on my skin, I don't really get the smoke. Is it possible it's there? When you smell it, yeah, I mean, it's not like it's not there at all, but it's just so muted and reserved. And I feel like it should have been more 50-50. I would have preferred peaches or even just like apricot, peach, plum, stewed fruit note, and then a lot of smoke or just resin. But for me, it's just more sort of a fruity fragrance, which is disappointing because I don't really feel like the campfire's there. The last one we're going to talk about is called That Guy. And That Guy has notes of bergamot, pineapple, black currant, forest pine, juniper leaf, rose, ambroxan, cedarwood, sandalwood, and vetiver. And to me, this one is one of those fragrances that when I initially put this on, I was very dismissive of it. I was like, I don't really smell much here. And then as the days sort of went on, I really started to like this one. I like it a lot, actually. I think it's a great guy fragrance. It reminds me a lot of Sauvage by Dior. Some people might take that as an insult. It's definitely not meant as an insult. It smells like a indie version of Sauvage. You get that bergamot, and you get that sort of pineapple-y thing that Sauvage has going on with the ambroxan. Sauvage has a shitload of ambroxan in it. And this one's just really good and masculine, like super good to wear with a suit, and just a clean man's fragrance. And I think that's what Dan was going here with this one. So I really like this one as well. And so my takeaway with this house is I really like them. I think internally, and Dan might message me and tell me he's nuts, I think he's trying to figure out whether he wants to go like super wearable or super like niche, you know what I'm saying? And I think there's a middle ground. I think he's straddling that really well. I think he needs to play it a little bit better because I think in the ultimate world, these fragrances can be very wearable, but something for niche heads. And I think right now they're like 80-20 wearable versus something that like people who like niche and indie would like. And I think he can bring the needle a little bit closer to the middle, and still make these wearable, but still make them entertaining and different for people who like different, because it's very hard to copy designer just because they can get such good materials at such good price points, so they can sort of always undercut you. But when you can sort of bridge the gap and make it, very wearable, interesting fragrances, I feel like that's when you're onto something in the indie world. And I think Dan's knocking on that door. I think all four of these are really good. The only one I probably won't wear is Peaches and Campfire, just because for me it's a little disappointing, but I would definitely wear That Guy. I would definitely wear Carb Cafe, and I would definitely wear Bergamust. Would I buy any of these? Probably would only buy Bergamust, to be honest with you. I would buy Bergamust. I might buy Carb Cafe, I'm not sure. But I really like what Dan's doing. I think the pricing is fair. I think he's got a good head on his shoulders, and I think this is a brand that definitely can survive in a very tough, a very competitive indie market nowadays. So shout out to Dan. Dan, thank you for sending me these. I'd be happy to look at anything else Dan creates in the future, because I'm definitely a fan, and I'll definitely be rocking Bergamust. And I hope you guys are enjoying Sensafari. I'll see you later this week with more videos. Guys, you already know what it is. My name is Maximilian.
No escaping this. Oh, 2 G's, mother. The beat nuts, y'all.